Hey anglers, thanks for tuning in again today. My name's Steve Cooper and you're watching In Deep on the Delta. Today we're doing the Delta fishing report for the week of January 14th, 2021. And can you believe it's the middle of December out here? Or excuse me, can you believe it's the middle of January? It's beautiful out here. It's actually kind of hot. I've got a long sleeve shirt on. I'm just about ready to take that off. But anyhow, let's get into the report. I've been out about 3 times this week and it's been slow, but we're catching fish. The water temperature is holding at 48 degrees. It might bump up to 49, and I understand that the next week we're going to be seeing temperatures from about 65 up to 70 degrees out here. So the water temperature might bump up a little bit, and hopefully if it does, it will trigger a little bit of a bite. So water temperature 48, 49 degrees. The visibility is about 6 feet, and there's been very light pressure here on the Delta. So I'm going to combine hook, line, and sinker and Outdoor Sportsman's reports. They're pretty much the same, and both of them are slow, slow, slow. Probably a better bet going after stripers than largemouth, but if you're a largemouth guy, I can tell you we're catching a few fish out here. It's slow, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So if you're going to fish stripers, I would stay out around Frank's Track to the Sacramento River. The fish seem to be bigger out there, and they also are probably a little more plentiful. I've been fishing the Central Delta, and I've been picking up a few stripers on jerk baits, but they've been 14 to 16 inches, and they haven't been real plentiful. But the other thing I've noticed here on the Central Delta, lots of birds out here. I got a ding for something. There's lots of birds out here, but they're not feeding. I don't think there's a lot of bait out here. You know, a couple weeks ago the seagulls were around, and you could tell they were just looking around and diving on balls of bait. So if there's a lot of bait out here, the bait has to be pretty deep. So the cormorants out here they didn't disappear, but they moved somewhere too, so they're following the bait. I also have noticed the sea lions have disappeared, so that's a good sign that the Central Delta is not holding a ton of striped bass. So I would stay out farther towards Frank's Track and Big Break. And all the reports that I have, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you're a bait fisherman, if you're a troller, if you're a plug fisherman, do what you're comfortable with, and if you stick with that and hit your spots and you know what you're doing out here, you're probably going to catch a few fish, but it's going to be slow. As far as my fishing goes, I have been catching some fish on a pointer, and I think that's the ghost minnow, and really that's been my #1 go-to bait. And we'll get back to that in just a minute, because I want to talk about some of the baits that I haven't been getting fish on, so you don't make the same mistake I do. I've tried all kinds of these things, worms, beavers, things like that, and I am just having a heck of a time getting anything to come to a bait that's moving slow and look at it and just want to eat it. You just can't trick these guys into taking worms right now, or I can't. So most of my, not most, I've had a few half-hearted bites on these things, but I have a feeling they have been either small fish or they're just not taking them in. You just can't fool these things into eating the plastics right now, as far as I'm concerned. So I have been getting a few fish on a lipless, very, very slow, and I mean a few fish, one every time I go out. So it's not a pattern. Again, my pattern, if I'm going to fish something, if I had one day to fish, that's what I'd be fishing, this jerk bait. But drop shotting, really, I've had a couple of ticks, but they're just not taking those slow moving baits. I've thrown an A-rig, and I have not got bit on an A-rig. I've thrown a few lipless crankbaits and square bills. I haven't been bit on a square bill. So with that, if you're going to fish these guys here, look for moving water. Everything that I've been catching has been in moving water, and it's in breaks, in islands where you get that flush. And I'm not fishing the real fast water, I'm fishing after the water flushes out and there's still a little movement, maybe could be, depending on the tide, it may be 10, 15, 20, 30 yards out from where the water is flushing through. The largemouths seem to be holding there. When they decide to hit, you get a nice hit off of them and catching some decent fish, but it is slow. So I would suggest, if you're out here and you want to throw some jerk baits, I would look for that moving water and just move from place to place to place. If you get a fish, stay there for 10 or 15 minutes and work it. A lot of times I'm getting 1 or 2 fish in these places. If you don't get a bite within 5 minutes, go to the next spot. The other place that I've caught a few fish is when you have a point or something, you get some water moving around. Again, I think moving water is the key. Places like we are out here where it's just standing, I cannot get bit. So with that, guys, it's slow and it's a grind, but you can catch fish and it's beautiful out here. So that's the Delta. I was in contact with Clear Lake Bait and Tackle, and there's a glimmer of hope up there. The pressure is it's still light, but there's more and more guys going out, which is telling everybody that when more people start going up to Clear Lake this time of year, it means there's some headhunters up there. And the word is from Clear Lake Bait and Tackle is it's slow, but the guys that are fishing are throwing some big baits and they're catching some big fish. So if you are a headhunter, it may be the time to start thinking about going up to Clear Lake and looking for that one big fish. Just be realistic. You're not going to go up there and have summertime numbers. It's going to be going up there and looking for that one big bite. So that's Clear Lake. The word up there also is they are finding that the crappie are starting to school more and more. So that's going to get better and better, and the crappie fishing is something that I know when I go up there, if it's tough fishing for bass, a lot of times I'll do a little crappie fishing. So if you're a crappie guy or you're a 50-50 guy, Clear Lake is something to put on your radar. Also talked to John Liechty from up at New Maloney's, and John was out this week and his clients were looking to throw big baits. They were headhunters. They wanted to catch some big fish, so he threw swim baits. Very slow, but I think his last trip he got a 6 or a 6+ on a swim bait, and you know, that's a good catch. Only got 1 fish that day, but that's what you're up there for. You're looking for a 6 to 8 or 10 or you know, whatever it might be. That one fish could be the fish of a lifetime. And I know John and I talked a little bit about what he would have done if he was still drop shotting, and obviously he says, you know, if you're going to do that, you're still going to be catching fish. You just John wasn't doing that last week. So if you're going to head up there and you want one big fish, fish the swim bait. If you want to drop shot or shaky head or do some spooning out in the deep water, the fish are still there just like they were last week. John also was telling me that if we get this 60 to 70 degree weather in the next week, the fish will move in close to the bank. So if you're a bank runner, you don't know the lake real well, and you're not comfortable with fishing offshore, maybe this next week you can run up there and do some bank running. Just remember, don't hug the bank with your baits. Run the bank, stay out a little ways, get that bait out and start in maybe 10 feet of water and work it out to about 40 feet deep. And that might be a good trick to go up to Maloney. So with that, my suggestion would be either fishing Maloney's for numbers, or throwing big swim baits for that one big fish, or going up to Clear Lake. Again, if you want one big fish to throw swim baits, that's what you're going to do up at Clear Lake. On the Delta, it's going to be a great time to be out here next week. Good time to take the wife or the kids or all of them or everyone, and you can get up here and have a good day on the water. If you stick with the pointers, you're going to get some fish, but you're going to have to work at it. It'll be fun for you, and just enjoy the Delta. The colors out here are beautiful. The bird life is all over out here, and it's just a lot of fun being out here. Now, I have one thing that I want to let you guys in on, and I should have talked a little bit about this last week when I was up at Shasta, and I kind of jogged my memory. how much gear you can lose when you're fishing the deep water lake. So for those of you guys who do a lot of drop shotting, I've got a deal on drop shot weights, and I want to make sure I get this right. Local Angler Just Fishing is the company, and I'm going to put all his information. I'll have it up on the screen, and I'll also include it down below in the comments on my on the video here. And he's selling drop shot weights, and they're quality weights. They're good pours. They've got the standard line catch swivel up at top. He's got everything from looks like 3/16 to 3/8 ounce, all the standard colors. And what the deal is, they come 6 to a package, and they're $3. And it doesn't matter what size weight you are, there's 6 in each package for $3. I think that's a pretty darn good deal, and I don't quote me on this, but I think that includes tax and everything. So hit them up at I Just Fish Gear Gmail, and you'll have that information. If you're looking for a good deal, you want to support a local angler, this is the way to go. So that's it, fellas. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. If you got a friend that's not watching, let him know that we'll be doing the report. And I'm really looking forward to 2021. I've been running around this week a little bit, and I'm looking at, you know, the water quality, the clarity, the weed growth. Everything, in my opinion, is shaping up for an outstanding 2021. And I think that's what we all need. But it's going to be probably another month to 6 weeks before things start picking up. But right now is a beautiful time to be out here, and it is just so peaceful. My suggestion would be make yourself a nice lunch when you come out here, bring the family, and do your fishing, but take a little time to maybe just drift around and have lunch and talk and listen to the birds. It's just unbelievable out here. I can't believe the weather. So thanks for watching. See you guys next week. Bye-bye. Here's something that I've been doing, and I have been catching fish out here, not lately, but think about this. I've been drop shotting a Ned rig, and that has produced some bites, and it's produced some fish. It's something that I don't do a lot out here, and this is the color that I've been using. Let me pull this one off. I'm just nose hooking that on a drop shot rig. And I'm using, I don't know what they call this color, but it's kind of a crawdad laminate. And something that you might want to try out here. Try drop shotting the TRD worm. It might be something that I think, you know, is going to catch on here.